Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. M1 Mac Mini base model 8x256 review. Okay, so I got this for a lot of reasons. I at least can behave myself and only run one run program at a time. And I know what programs not run now, especially when it comes to games, because they go into swap, which is quite a few of them. So stick with cheesy little games from, the Apple Arcade, and you should be fine. Don't worry about it. You won't go into swap. Once you do enter swap, though, it is going to get stuttery. It's going to slow down. It's not going to be the world's best experience. Yeah. But if avoid swap, you're rocketing. You're good. This thing is going to perform exactly equal to my 16x512 if you can avoid going into swap, or virtual memory as it's really called. Okay. Now, if you don't know what it uses a section of your empty space of your drive, be it a hard drive or SSD drive. It uses that and converts it into memory, okay? And, of course, it will slow down your system memory because it can't run at the same speed. But that's where stuttering comes into, plus the fact that it is taking it from your SSD, which stutters either way and slows you down. That is the nature of virtual memory. It does cause performance issues. It can also cause dropped frames. It can cause stuttering when you're scrubbing video. It could definitely screw with your audio recordings if you're in swap. So you got to kind of, play nice when you've bought a very low-spec machine in the RAM and drive area. Also, keep in mind you don't have a lot of space at 256. I loaded this sucker up with Mac OS Sonoma 14.1.1. Put in Logic, got my GarageBand going, did all my sound updates. I'm down to like 100 gigs free. I mean, it's pathetic. That doesn't leave a whole lot of room for working on even large files, and of course, OS updates, program updates that happen all the time too, right? It's going to get tighter and tighter. So I did put on a 1 terabyte external drive, which is running slower than the internal, but it's still running 1000 by 1500. Read-write, so it's fine. And at least now I got a terabyte of storage, so yeah, I got a ton of space free. But I bought it for a lot of different purposes, other than also showing you guys, between the two of them, the differences. And I still got to set the one up on one display, one up on the other, so we can do some side-by-sides that way, because right now both of them are running off this display, so I just, I go in here and I can flick across when the button works, and I can just go to HDMI number 1, and this HDMI 1 is actually my 16 gig machine that is loaded to the hilt, okay? And then I just go back and I can flick between them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them up on separate displays, and I guess we'll have to do separate keyboard and mouse, because otherwise I got to keep pushing buttons. But we'll get that figured out down the road, okay? But this is the review, okay? And this is where we're talking about, even for basic users, if you cannot control yourself and only stick with one thing at a time, and watch what you do in audio, watch what you're doing in video, keep an eye on your activity monitor too, especially when you're video editing, to see how much you can get away with before you hit swap, and then you know how far you can go to avoid swap, and you will still get top performance. This thing will be a major monster if you avoid swap at all costs, because it does wear out your drive prematurely as well. And like I said, it stutters, it slows you down, it kind of really sucks, especially once you start using a fair bit of swap. I fired up, what do you call it here? See what I mean? I got to friggin' switch between these things. 3 computers, 1 keyboard and mouse. Skyrim. So Skyrim here, this was a PC program that I used the Paul the Tall porting toolkit to wrap it to run it as a Mac app. And it's got Windows built into it, and it's also got to translate through Rosetta as well, because it's not Apple Silicon accelerated. But the game does run in Ultra Graphics 1080p, like no hesitation whatsoever. But I did go in about 384 megabytes into swap with it, so it really didn't start to do anything yet to screw up my gaming. But had I started playing for maybe another 5-10 minutes, and it's got to render a lot of video in this game too, and it's a very crunchy game, that would definitely start messing with my game. So no hardcore gaming on this thing. It's not gonna work for you. Minecraft is no different. Minecraft, though, they've had enough updates. They must have gotten some of their memory management under control. Because I am not quite, well, I am at about 6.3 gigs of RAM, but it's also a new world that I built, and I haven't done anything more than start the foundation for a house. And I did actually hit about 6.7, 6.8 gigs, and I'm just starting to build a house, and I'm like, really? So yes, it's still very much of a hog. Be careful with Minecraft. It will throw you into virtual memory with an 8 gig machine. With a 16 gig machine, I've not yet hit swap yet, so we're all good there so far. Okay, I still got a long ways to go rebuilding my world again. So I would say borderline in it on Minecraft. You know, it's just going to be one of those things. But definitely cheesy games, and there's a lot of cheesy games out there on the App Store that you can download that, you know, I mean, they may not be 3D shoot 'em up, CSGO, or any of that sort of stuff, but at least they're not going to stick you into swap. But as long as you can avoid the swap, you've got a really good performing machine, okay? But learning that control is going to be the fun part. Now, I can control it. It's not a big deal. But a lot of people that are base users won't be able to control it. And that's where you're going to have to reprogram yourselves a little bit. It's like, if I don't want to wear out that SSD, and if I don't want to end up with a lot of stuttering in what I'm doing, I really think I should learn to dial things down a few notches. Okay, so with internet surfing, we all like to have a browser open. I generally usually only have 4 tabs open at any time. One's my Hotmail, my Gmail, my Facebook. Those are all 3 separate tabs. And then usually YouTube. And I'll watch YouTube videos while I'm doing the other stuff. And it's fine because I'm not really using much RAM at all. I opened up about 14 tabs on this puppy. And it's like, man, I'm pushing 7 gigs already. And I'm like, ooh, how many more can I go? I don't know. I have to figure that out. Because some people like to have like 20, 30, 40 tabs. I don't know why. I mean, what are you doing? You need that many open at once. I have no clue. What I'm needing, that's what I grab. You know what I mean? You know, it's the same as doing a video editing project and then go fire up your browser. If your project is already chewing up 6, 7 gigs of RAM and you go and open your browser and you got another 20 tabs open, you're probably hitting virtual memory, and that's not going to go good because that's definitely going to cause some lag out as it is, you know. Because the more you make your CPU and your GPU work with more things to handle at once, that also kind of makes you fart and stutter a little bit as it is. Not very much, but a little bit. And you're still not at swap yet. But once you hit that swap, it's even worse. And it may not feel like it's much of a slowdown to you, but that's to you, not the computer. The computer is on steroids. I mean, these things are freaking fast. It's Apple Silicon, right? But at the same time, no computer can handle too many jobs at once without something going shaky on another one, okay? Or maybe it's your upmost project that's getting the worst shakedown. But it varies on what you're doing, right? But I got a kick out of a lot of these channels that were like, here, look at all the programs you can run. I'm not even hitting swap yet. But you're not doing anything with those programs. You start adding audio files in, you start chewing RAM above what the program wants. You're on a video editor? Hey, fine. DaVinci Resolve, a gig, that was like 1 point something gigs of RAM just to fire it up, right? I start dropping files in there for video editing, boom, 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 more RAM, huh? Why? Because it's got a job to do now other than sit idle. So it starts chewing up more and more RAM out of your buttons, and you only got so much, right? This is why RAM's a big issue. But it's also another reason the Mac Mini is not for high-end professionals. It's for the more basic users. It's for people who want to be able to do a YouTube channel, for example, like me, right? I want to do my YouTube channel, and this thing is like 5,000 times better and faster than an Intel Mac. So for video editing, great. For music, great. Those are my key focuses. Gaming sucks. I have a PC for that, okay? But some gaming sucks. Some is not bad. But mostly, it does suck for gaming on Apple Silicon, right? And it is getting better, though. But I do have a PC for gaming with, so I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that much. So I can do a lot of professional workflow on this thing okay, either one of them actually, as long as I watch what I'm doing, okay, because even 16 gigs is not a ton of RAM, but it's better than 8, okay? It's 150% better than 8 gigs. And neither one of these am I running the internal drives. I'm running externals. I got Thunderbolts, 2 Thunderbolts on my main Mini. That's a 16 gig machine. And of course, like I said, non-Thunderbolt, it's 1000 by 1500 on my base model. And it seems to work quite well, okay? But like I said, I can control what I run on them, and I don't need to run an internet browser on my 8x256 because that is for music production. And for music production, it works. For video production and for a bunch of other stuff, that's what my main Mac Mini is for, and it's a 16 gig machine. And then, like I said, for gaming, well, because gaming still sucks on Apple Silicon, definitely on M1s. M3s are getting pretty impressive, though, especially with the new ray tracing and stuff. But my PC, that's where I do my gaming right now, okay? And I don't expect Apple to get off the pot and get gaming under control for at least till the M5 at best. Then we will have really awesome everything else, but now we'll also have the really awesome gaming, okay, which is only going to get better and better as they make faster and faster and better chips and all this stuff, right? So that's kind of where I'm sitting on the fence board here. But I do need to upgrade my current systems to a better system because of the things that I want to do in 2024. And the only way I'm going to be able to do them is if I can get that better system. If I can't, I'm kind of not going to be able to do what I need to do and want to do to help hopefully make my channel explode a lot more. Because I'm getting a little tired of looking at my subscriber count going, that should be 15 times that or more by now. Like, my view count, that should be like more, you know. But hey, you know, we have to learn as we go what's working, what's not working, and all that. You know, then we'll figure out things out. But I think what I want to do is I want to get a little bit more flashy in the videos and also figure out a way to cut my time down a little bit more. Not a ton, but a little bit more, you know. Because the attention span, I mean, I have an attention span too with videos, but if it's something that I'm interested in learning about, I'll sit there and watch the whole bloody thing. But if it's something that is like, well, you know, I'll click out of it, right, like everybody does. But there are things that are important to me to watch and pay attention to, other things I don't. And we're all kind of like that, right? But, you know, we'll see how things go, what happens, I have no idea. But in the meantime, if you can stay out of virtual memory with this configuration of 8256 on any Mac that's, you know, in this case nowadays Apple Silicon, I would say that it would be a pretty good machine, but it's only going to do you for probably another maybe 2 years, and it doesn't matter what you fire up, you're going to be in virtual memory. I foresee where the Mac OS is going even in 2 years from now. And I got a pretty good idea that, you know, by the end of 2025, we are seriously going to be looking at about 8 gigabytes just to fire up our Mac, just to the desktop. So that would put an 8 gig machine right into virtual memory right away. And that means that a 16 gig machine would be pointless. Okay, so that means now we need 32 gigs of RAM. And that I will explain in another video to give you a little bit more info on that, more in depth. So, but in the meantime, things are coasting along. We are good for a while yet, but we just got to learn to control that little mouse clicker that we don't run more than one thing at once. And the 8x256 even, depending on what you're doing, could work out. But I still think with the 256, it's still really shy, depending on what you want to do. But if you want to do a YouTube channel, don't buy an 8256, period. Get the 16 with 512 or 16 256 and put an external 1 terabyte Thunderbolt drive on there. You'll be good for a couple years yet, okay? As long as you still also realize that whatever you're running, stay within the limitations to stay away from virtual memory, and that is going to give you a better product, because when you hit virtual, you can screw up audio files and video files, okay? You can throw your video files even out of sync when you hit virtual memory. It's not a cool thing, okay? So, but again, more to explain on virtual memory and how all that works in another video. Okay, it'll be like an all about kind of thing. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For what this thing is, 4 out of 5, too easy. as long as you stay at a virtual, okay? So take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao.